Welcome everyone back to another Battlefield 3 gameplay commentary. So today I'm going to be talking all about my favourite classes, weapons, guns, all that good stuff in Battlefield 3. And also I do have another Battlefield 4 topic to talk about at the end. So if you do want to stick around for that, please do. Hopefully it will be very, very interesting. But let's get to this with the favourite classes. Now, it might seem a bit strange to be doing a favourite class weapon video in Battlefield 3 at this late in the stage, assuming Battlefield 4 is only around the corner. It's only a few months away. Well, I say few, but it's around about 6. So, but yeah, a few months away. And we don't know what the multiplayer, the class systems, anything about Battlefield 4 really to do with multiplayer is going to be about. So it's a complete unknown. So with Battlefield 3, you can always use that as a base model with the class system. Whether or not they're going to implement the same one, we do not know, but I'll go into a bit more detail a bit later on. But we can always have some fun speculating some ideas and thoughts about the next Battlefield class system while we still have some fun with the original. So, as you probably already know, if you've watched any of my videos that I've put on Battlefield 3, then you should know that I'm a fan of the Assault class. That is my favourite class. Big surprise, but yeah, I do like the Assault class because it provides the most accurate weapons you could possibly imagine, besides the sniper rifles that I'm no good at. But I do like the Assault class because you can be as accurate as possible and as deadly as possible. You can kill people very, very quickly with certain weapons. Most weapons do kill people very quickly. They're just not as accurate as others. And of course, it always matters what weapons you choose. In the Assault class, I do like to choose out of 4, usually are my favourite. I classes as my favourite, as they're usually the go-to weapons at most combat ranges, most game modes, most games. But I do like to use them all. I'm not going to leave any of the other weapons out. I do like to try the AEK, F2000, AN94, for example. I do like to use them all. They're just a few examples. Every so often, not constantly. I don't like to use one constantly because that does get boring. But the 4 I like to use are the AUG A3, G3A3, SCAR L, and M16. Now that might seem a bit of a sin to say the M16, but I've always used it throughout the beta. I remember those days in the beta of Battlefield 3 where I used the M16 a lot. I really, really liked that weapon. I used it through the start of Battlefield 3, and I've used it up until now, really. Not constantly, as I've said. I have switched between weapon, class between class, and every so often I pick the M16 just because I can, and it's a fun weapon to use, even though a lot of people do hate it. But every class has its own good aspects and disadvantages, and they're all good for certain areas, situations, whereas I kind of like the Engineer for Team Deathmatch as their close quarter weapons, and Conquest at sometimes, because obviously you got the vehicle takedown ability with the rocket launcher, repair tool. They're very good for teamwork, as the support classes, they're more or less the same, really. I just no good with the support class because I'm just spraying bullets everywhere and not really hitting anyone. And the recon, I can't hit anyone with a sniper rifle, so I won't even go into that. That's a big no-no. But I have been trying my hardest to do some sniping, so I might have a video a bit later on in the week sometime about that. So do stick around for that. That might be a lot of fun. I do hope it is anyway. But let's move on to the Battlefield 4 classes. Now, as I've said, we have no idea what they're about. We have no idea what they're going to be like, even if they're going to be the same. Even though I do think they would most likely, DICE I'm talking about, would make the classes more or less the same as Battlefield 3, because there was nothing wrong with them in BF3. They were perfectly good. They have the Assault, Engineer, Support, Recon, but if they just changed the ability to swap gadgets between classes, that might be something they might do. It might be quite interesting to see. Different gadgets like defibrillators on the Recon, for example, it might mix it up, but then again it wouldn't really be that effective, because I don't really see that being plausible, really having defibrillators on recons, and I don't particularly like the idea of being able to swap classes, gadgets between classes, that much. I don't really like that idea much, but it is an idea that has been circulating between the community, gadget swapping, even though it could be kind of interesting. I don't know what kind of gadgets they're going to put back in, so who knows. But character customization is the other thing. In every first-person shooter or shooter in general, character customization is a big part, because players, gamers, myself, I do like to customize my character, make it a bit more unique in the battlefield, so people can, maybe I might be able to stand out from the crowd a bit more, or in general just be a bit more unique as my character, instead of being the same old standard character. But with Battlefield 3, if you looked at an enemy in the far distance through a sniper scope, you could usually tell what kind of character they were, support, recon, by their outfit. Now if you change that too much, you wouldn't first of all be able to tell what he was, but you wouldn't be able to tell if he was enemy or friendly, besides the red marker above his head. So what could they do to make that fair, balanced, whatever you want to call it? You could just have facial changes where you change the face of your character to make them more what you want, but then that seems very pointless, very small aspect to change where it's very unnoticeable. Where in character customization you always want something that's going to be noticed, but you don't want to be a rainbow soldier running through the wilderness, because that's too much. So you could just change the headgear, the hat, the glasses, and again that seems very small, very pointless. You could just change the gear, the torso, the legs, the outfit in general, but then that arises, you may not be able to tell that much or that easily who's friendly, who's foe, and again what kind of type of soldier he is. Again, telling what type of soldier he is doesn't really matter that much, because you're not really focusing on if he's a support, if he's an assault. It's just you're trying to take him down, so that may not be such a big issue. But I don't quite know what they will do, what they can do. As long as they do more than just changing the camo, I'm happy. So let's wait and see for any new information. As we know, E3 is only around the corner, and Battlefield 4 will be attending E3. So let's keep our fingers crossed for some multiplayer gameplay, or a multiplayer at least. I'm very excited to see. So I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, post any comments, any questions you may have, right down in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel for all the upcoming content that's coming very, very soon. So as always, until next time.